everybody. Welcome to the moananuipodcast. It is October 12th and fall is here. The weather is cooling down here on the East Coast and hope everybody's doing well no matter where you are. But yeah, so we wanted to talk story today, continue our conversation from last week, Thursday, where we had Jazzy and Aaron and Pauahi come on and talk about people versus profit, indigenous peoples and the things that matter to us versus capitalism and the need to focus on money making activities, essentially. And whether or not, what our feelings or what the community has been saying about the reopening of Lahaina to tourism. We talked about why that matters. Like for those people who don't understand, the reality on the ground is that a lot of the hotels in Lahaina were what was being offered via for the FEMA and Red Cross programs to those who have been displaced by the fires. So with the return of tourism, then that would obviously redisplace these people again, reignite the trauma that is already there that people are already dealing with and subjecting them to yet another phase of uncertainty where they don't know if they're going to have a stable place for themselves, their family, multi-generational families, lots of people in houses. It's one of the unique things about Hawaii that I don't think a lot of people understand. So I just wanted to raise that again. I think the most that I saw in terms of videos and things like that was like one house of 25 people. So just imagine if you had to have 25 people squeezed into one hotel room. Like, I'm sure it's not just one hotel room, but that's the kind of things that is serious. And then to have to give up that space, that little bit of space that you have so somebody can come on vacation. And then if they're working in the hotels and tourism, you gotta put on a freaking smile when you're like literally just trying to survive. So I just wanted to contextualize that for the audience because it's one thing when you talk about these concepts put on paper and you talk about it, but when you see and experience like what these people are actually going through, like what that means as a human, as a person, as someone trying to protect your ohana or your family, I think it hits a little different. And if you can empathize and put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's going through that, I think it should be easier for us to want to help. So Aaron has been doing a lot of work with the community, both from Arizona, where he's at, with Hoʻakā, which all of us are involved with. But he's actually blessed to be able to go home more often and help out Kokua with the community, even though he's coming from the continent. So I just love the way our community continues to rally around and support each other in a time when it would be easy to just turn the other way. It'd be easy to do that, but that's not how Kanaka Maoli are. And I like to see that our values are still deeply instilled in us, no matter how far we might be from the people. So this week, just wanted to continue the conversation. Aaron had shared some great stories, and Jazzy has great questions, and helping us to continue this conversation. And yeah, we just, we wanted to shout out Hoʻakamana again because Kanoe and Caleb and our Ulu, which are our crisis counselors that are now officially certified by the state and on the ground helping our communities on Maui Island, as well as those who have been displaced to other islands like Molokaʻi and I believe Lanai too. So multi-island approach, lots of people helping in a lot of different places. And we just wanted to mahalo them because they're doing a lot of great work. And to everybody who has donated to Hoʻakamana, whether it's through your product donations or through your generous financial donations, mahalo nui. It's words cannot express the gratitude, but if you would like to check out and see the impact of some of the contributions, you can go to hoakamana.org and then put that back up again and check out the website, see their mission, what they're doing. And then you can also check them out on IG where we're posting updates on what is going on, the activities that the volunteers are working on, the packaging of all the wonderful donations. I just saw some great ones today of keiki puolo or keiki packages that are going out. And I like those because that's to me, it's like multi impact. It makes the keiki happy, which makes the parents happy. Can we get a little break, a little rays of sunshine? So mahalo to everybody who's helping to do that. So with that said, I'm gonna hand over to Jazzy and we just talk story and continue the conversation.
Mahalo, sis. Yes, absolutely. Like I said in our Ho'akamana meeting on Tuesday, Ho'akamana has become an ohana. There has been a lot of people that were able to help out in the beginning, and then everyone's either doing their own thing or they just had other life events that took them out. This is something that I believe the three of us and the rest of our Ho'akamana family is very dedicated to. And in the words of our leader, Kanoi, it's we're doing this to help because it is our kuleana. At the same time, it's also to help them get back on their feet too. So this isn't about just helping them while they need help. It's also encouraging them and supporting them as they continue their journey and are able to get back to a productive life because mana is definitely a part of all of us. And to be able to help when it needs help and then keep encouraging to where when they can stand on their own too, then they know they did it. We're not here to just feel pity. We're here to lift and uplift. And with that being said, I want Aaron to chime in and share his absolutely incredible, amazing story of when he went down and volunteered at a hub. um, he met and encountered someone with a pretty amazing story. So I'm just going to let him go ahead and tell it.
Mahalo. Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally forgot to mention this last time we was talking because we got into some other topics, but this was probably actually one of the most inspirational things that happened to me while I was there, or at least that I was able to witness on the ground there. So the first day that I was at the Honoko'ai hub, I had Uncle John Kinamaka was, I think I had mentioned on the last show that he had been talking to me for a couple of hours about just that whole day where the fires happened. And soon after that, a lot of people started coming in. So there's always people coming in periodically throughout the day, dropping off supplies, picking up supplies for the ohana, and they had just started coming in like in heavy numbers. And I had this brother with me. His name is Kamanao. He's actually from that area, and he had been there for since the kind of the beginning stages of that hub had opened. So he just used to seeing all the missing person signs that are up there. He's very familiar with the faces that are on there. And this one truck comes through and there's two brothers in it. The guy driving, one hollow looking guy, he's oh, this guy needs some help. And the guy was in the passenger seat. And, oh, what kind of help does he need? And he has no ID or anything. He lost everything in the fires and he's just trying to find some help here. And then Kamanao kind of like looks at him, yeah, and like he kind of like recognized the guy. And then he like walked over to there's like a fence right over there on the side of the road has all the missing person signs out from the FBI. Oh, he like pulls out one of the missing person signs out and he goes back to the truck and then he like holds it up and Uncle, this you? And then he goes, oh, yeah, that's me. And then we was all like tripping out. Oh, even now, like I swear, it's like chicken skin moment, yeah. And it was just beautiful to witness because you talk about all these people that was missing and a lot of speculation out there as to where all these people are, yeah. And he had been, I mean, it'd been like 6 weeks, yeah. Nobody's seen the guy, nobody's heard from him, and then he shows up one day, and it was just unreal to see. So we have a lot of help there as far as mountain medics and people with that kind of information. We have one wahine there. Her name is Amy. She immediately got on the phone calling the FBI and gonna basically talk to him about or talk to them about clearing his name off the list because we just found him. And then he had gone through just all the resources at our hub to get whatever kind of help he needed, whether it was like mental health or whatnot. Got all the help that he needed that day. Was able to contact his family and speak to his children, which he was obviously it was like emotional for him. But I didn't really get to see much after he had went into the back because I was busy at the front, yeah, with the supplies. But one of my friends that was there, he actually went to Kahuku. he works at the tour guide place in Maui, yeah. So, but he's actually there a lot with the tour bus dropping off supplies. Like he actually, I saw a video of him. He actually like small kind of interviewed him, talked to him on that day that we found him, and I remember the guy saying that he was just numb all the way up into that day until he was able to talk to his daughter, and he said he just broke down, started crying, but he said he emotionally he was like just lost, yeah. But it was just awesome to witness that and to know that there's still hope out there for somebody's missing people, even though they've been gone. I mean, missing for a long time. I mean, 6 weeks, that's a long time for nobody to be knowing where you are. And then just off of that, I was thinking about all like the misinformation or actually like just maybe speculation that's out there coming from the continent, especially. Yeah. Cause before I got there, there's all these things that you hear of things that are up in the air as to, oh, what happened to these people? And I think a lot of it is because of the state hasn't really released a lot of information. And then now it gets people thinking like, oh, could it be this or that? So one thing that was like on my mind was like about the children that were people were saying, oh, there's because I think when the Department of Education came out and they had the numbers for the kids that going back to school, it was like 1 or 2,000 of those kids that were unregistered and people. I know one concern that people had at least that were not on the ground in Maui, people from either the United States or just on the continent area, wherever, not in Hawaii. A lot of the things that people were saying was like, "Where's all these kids at?" Like, and there's a lot of speculation about these kids. But when I got there, I had talked to some people, and I never got the feeling that there was that many kids missing. It sounded more to me like there was just had so much things going on, like the families had lost everything, and that just wasn't a priority at that time to put the kids back into school. So they're not necessarily missing. They just haven't registered them back in school because they're still trying to deal with all these other issues with housing, with food. Like some of these families, they're not just going to one hub and getting supplies. They driving to like hubs all over the island because not everybody has everything. Not everybody has diapers. Not everybody has whatever kind of supplies that they might be needing at their particular time. So that's another thing that's hard for these folks is they like some of these people like Kupuna, for example, like not everybody had a bank account. A lot of people had their stuff in their house, like their money was all in their house. And now they literally have nothing. All their money is gone. So they have to go to these hubs to get stuff because they don't have money to buy things right now. So but that was just like a awesome thing to witness on that first day that I was there, and it kept me motivated to throughout the day. I mean, it was a good feeling to see that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Thank you so much for sharing. I still get goosebumps and chicken skin every single time we talk about it because it's one of those situations where you're just like, wow, to witness that happening. Somebody who just showed up, needed help, and you happen to be at the place that you got to see that spark of hope, that part
Yeah.
of reunification, even if it was just by phone with his
Yeah.
kids. And I definitely want to snowball a little bit into the conversation topic that you brought up about the misinformation, because I am in full agreement with you being here on the continent and not knowing anybody personally from Maui other than what I hear from our meetings and whatnot. Yeah, there is a lot of either misled information or missing information, which is why I believe Moana really wanted to touch on who are really good people to listen to and to look at as far as information goes on social media, because there is so many people who will just post just to get the likes and the views and the followers and all of that. And even for someone like me whose heart and soul is just so still connected to home, and when a lot of this stuff started coming up, as a mom, I'm just like, yeah, where are the kids?
Yeah.
What's going on? And it made my heart break because that was my biggest thing, because it's just one of those things that you want to believe that people that are, I'm going to do bunny ears here, but middle age can figure out how to take care of the kupuna and the keiki. But when keiki gets messed with, that's when the rest of us are kind of like, that's when we all rally together. And so thank you for sharing that perspective and that information, because you're right. There's no way. There's no way that I could even fathom the thought of trying to start a school year when I can't even figure out where we're going to be for the next night or all of the other things. And to know that it's to keep sharing that, regardless of it being 2 months ago, or it's been a little bit longer than that now, but it's not done. It's not, it's over. Like, I do understand and had seen from our reliable sources that yes, there is the cleanup that's going to be starting. Yes, there is the small homes being built so that people can actually have something that's not just, I don't know, as temporary as a hotel room or a B&B or something like that. So that's a little bit more stable until they can get their houses built. But we still have that high stress. We still have that high trauma that is still going on, like Pa'ahi said in our last podcast, where a lot of them haven't even made it to PTSD yet because they're still living in it. And knowing that suicide rates and domestic violence has really been on the rise, that hit home for me when I heard about that a couple days ago, because those are things that I either experienced or witnessed or was around for. And I can't even, my heart truly goes out to them. And this is why I'm so excited for Hoʻakamana to have their ulus, because yeah, they're the ulus. They're not there to be, oh, I'm your crisis counselor. How can I help you? That's very not Kanaka. We go in there with the, I'm here to listen. I'm here for you to vent to. If you just want to sit on the beach and cry, I'm here. I'll sit next to you. You're not alone. And I feel like that's where we are so rooted in as a Kanaka, is we don't want anybody doing anything alone, period. It's always going to be about our ohana. And ohana was never just mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and the kids. It was the community. It was the island. Everybody was ohana. And that's where I think a lot of why we do what we do is such an impact. Even for you, Erin, you are not just helping as Ho'akamana, you are doing it as Erin, as yourself, not just because you're a firefighter, but because that's just within you. And you are heading back there soon, aren't you?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm planning on going back on the 18th of this month. I'm a bit different situation than most people because I'm a firefighter and my schedule, it allows me to go home for certain periods of time that most people might not be able to do at their job. So when I first started this thing, Ho'akamana was awesome because I was looking for ways to help from Arizona. So this is before I even went back. The first time I went back to Maui, and all they basically did was open up a whole bunch of other avenues for me, and people like you that are on our meetings every week have new ideas and ways that we can help. So that's awesome for people that cannot make it in person. But luckily for me, because I want to be like hands on. I've always been like that kind of person. Is I want to be hands on, whether it's helping someone or no matter what it is. If there's a kahea that goes out, then I just show up. But I'm planning on going back on the 18th, and I'm going to be spending a day with the mountain medics because I did see there was a kahea that went out and a sign up for the families going back to sift through their properties and support for them. So I did sign up for an entire day of that with them. And then I also want to go back to Honoko'ai to see the boys over there that I was with and the ohana over there that runs that hub, because I've become, when you meet people there, like you want to, I think it's important to go back if you can. But I also know there's other hubs out there that might be in need depending on what's going on at the time. So I know one thing that came up was the building of small homes, and I did want to try and see if I can get my hands in on that and do some work there possible. So that's one thing that I'm going to be looking at. And then I know Kanoi had said that she wanted a day where we can ship stuff over from Molokai and then be able to take it over to some hubs that are in need over there. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done over there. And like I said last time, this is going to be going on for a long time. So they're always going to need help. I would say at least a couple of years, probably, if you really think about how long this rebuilding is going to take. So if you're someone that can't help right now, it might be a time in the future for you where you are able to help, maybe like summertime or throughout the year. Like people have more days off of work, and there's always, I would say, keep in touch on social media with people. I mean, there's a lot of good resources out there as to what's going on the ground. If you follow certain places, there's kaheas going out, and you can keep in touch that way and maybe be able to sign up for things. But I don't think they're always going to need people coming in. And I think, especially if you're Kanaka, that's going to be probably the best help just culturally. Not saying that visitors aren't welcome to help out, but if you're a visitor and you're there and you can help, we will take all the help we can get for our Maui Ohana. Yeah, but I think cultural healing is going to be a big part of healing our people there. Just and for example, when I went over and talked to the Lahaina Luna football team, I played with them at the end of after I talked to them, and we all knelt down. We as Hawaiians, you connect with each other, and you can feel mana. So we all had our hands on each other, and then I just played with them in Hawaiian. Just things as small as that, I think, is important for our keiki, and then just our kanaka out there. I think it's going to be important for uh, this long road ahead of recovery there on the island.
Absolutely, I agree. So, when you talk about kaheas, for those who are unfamiliar with what that means and how they can find those, we're asking for the genuine souls, the ones that are actually about the kuleana, about the responsibility and the diligence to want to get involved. Um, we, of course, will let them know about Hoʻakamana and how, especially if they can't physically get there, how their monetary donations are going to be directed and what it's used for to follow on their social medias. It's not about broadcasting, it's about holding that integrity and making sure that Hoʻakamana is delivering on what is being said. So, when you talk about kaheas, can you share with those who are listening what that means and really what kind of integrity and kuleana comes with that?
Yeah, so kahea is just like when somebody puts out the word that they need help with something in particular, it's just called a kahea. So they're just asking for help from the community. Saying they're either short on people or like for example, Ho'akamana, when we did those pu'olo bags, it was all these supplies that we had donated, sent down there from all over the continent. But they needed people to actually put these bags together. So Kanoi put out a post asking for help, and that's just kind of like what a kahea is when you're putting the message out there that you need some kind of help in return. So keeping in touch with that kind of stuff on social media is pretty good. I think it's the mountain medics always puts out kaheas every now and then for they need. I think there's some hubs out there that might have Facebook pages that they put out kaheas, or Akamana obviously puts out stuff. So depending on who you follow, you can find work. If you really want to help, there's always things that are going on, things now, things in the future. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I There's a lot of people that watch from near far, from home, from the continent, even in different countries. And I know that there's people that always want to know how to help or whatnot. And just as you mentioned earlier, we're not asking tourists to not visit the part of Maui that is still functioning. At the same time, just have that mindfulness and compassion of understanding that there's a certain area on that island specifically that they haven't been able to begin their healing process. And it's hard to think that anyone should feel entitled to be able to be placed somewhere that someone is calling their home. And like we talked about in the last podcast, a lot of people have that mindset of they don't care until it happens to them. And no, we don't wish that upon anyone, but because it is happening to our ohanas back home, it became our problem. It became our business. It became something for us to tackle and to take on with them and to let them know that they're not alone. So mahalo, Aaron, so much for your time contribution, your energy contribution. I know your hula halau in Arizona did a lot of contributions as well. And of course, our fearless leader, Moana, as well. She works tirelessly and just wearing so many hats. All of us, we're always just, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? Whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, all of it. So
I
just
think
lots of mahalo, both of you, because it means a lot to know that we have it and we have each other.
yeah. Well, and I think that's part of the kuleana that we carry as Kanaka too. Yeah, is we have kuleana to our people, no matter where we are, and to our islands. So when there when there's times where our people or our islands are in need, then we show up, yeah, and we come back. And I think another interesting thing that I realized like throughout this whole thing, especially when I started wanting to really help, and you trying to reach out to people who can help. The one thing I noticed is that the people that know more money really like help and be on the ground there. And then the people that get plenty money, they don't really do that work. Like they don't like help. Yeah. So, or at least not do the physical work. So I think if we can maybe, maybe combine the two. Yeah. So the people with money that don't like do the actual physical work can contribute to the people that are doing the work. And then that's how we can come together too. Cause let's be real, in this time or at this time and like in this American system that we're in, everything costs money. Yeah. I mean, it would be great if we could go back to our roots where things just required work and we could just feed ourselves. Yeah. But currently that's just not how our system is on the island. But hopefully one day things, especially with schooling. And that's probably why I would say a lot of people never send their kids back to school. Because if they was going to farm school, I would send my kid back because that's something you need, right? That's something that, I mean, if you're thinking about the next couple of years, stuff's going to cost money. But if you're someone that can learn how to farm, learn how to grow your own food, it's going to make things easier on you, especially financially in the future. So that's what I mean by when I say us healing as healing culturally. It's not just like your mental well-being, but just learning culture can help you heal in the future and make things easier for you and take the burden off of things, just getting back to your roots. And that's another thing I mentioned to our keiki or the kids that I spoke to at Lahaina Luna football. I was like, hey, don't forget your roots. Yeah. No matter where you go, how much money you make when you get older or whatever, just don't forget your roots. Don't forget where you came from. I think that's important to always remember is where you grew up, your cultures, and just never forget that.
Yeah, 100% totally agree with that. And I'm just glad that I've always been able to stay rooted and always reflecting back everything in my life, like back to home, staying grounded and everything. But I wanted to touch on, I'm glad you brought up like kind of the money aspect again, because I wanted to, when we were talking, I can't remember, I think it was during one of our meetings, and you had mentioned like how, back to the capitalism piece, like how the Airbnb owners are like exploiting this tragedy to their own devices for their own gain, which is like one totally insensitive to what's going on. But this is something that happens like even outside of this particular incident, right? And so I don't think people really realize it. So one of the things that Aaron was saying was that some of the Airbnbs was charging like $21,000 a month. So he saw something on social media. So I was like, that seems quite outrageous. But if you really do the math, it makes sense. So let me share this because I go look on Airbnb. I'm looking right now. This is actual rates. And hopefully everybody can see that. Can I make us smaller? Yeah. So look at this. This is like on the website right now. I just used next month, November, as an example. But look, it's not lying. 17,000, 14,000, 16,000 a month. Ridiculous. And if you think about it, the hotels on this side of the island are like astronomical, even in regular no fire time. So if you make 30 days, yeah, okay, this makes sense. But this is the kind of stuff I mean. They know because it's federally funded programs for an indeterminate amount of time that they can charge whatever, right? Because they're gonna get it because the government's involved. But this is the
Yes.
kind of ridiculous I'm talking about.
Hey, Moana, I'd like to mention something too, real quick about
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
So people is all over been doing that on Maui. They've been raising the prices because they know that the government's involved and they can pay. Yeah, so they're really in it for themselves, just trying to make more money. But now that people are doing that, so whatever funds we're getting from the government, and people say overcharging on purpose just because they know the government is going to pay out for these people to stay wherever. Yeah. So now you're depleting the government funds faster than they should be depleted, which hurts the
Correct.
people. So I don't know, just that's just the kind of things that we don't need. I mean, that's this kind of stuff's been going on for forever in Hawaii. Just people taking advantage of the people. Yeah. So
Mhm.
and that's just hella kind of stuff that and people wonder why like Hawaiians and locals is pissed off about certain things in Hawaii.
Look
And this is the kind of stuff we deal
look at
with
this.
all the
Look
time.
at this. 159,000.
Guys, this is making my stomach turn.
Like, look at that, 74,000.
I just I can't. Oh, I can't even. I mean, I agree, Aaron. It's depleting it's depleting where the need is supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you think about something that could under normal circumstances could maybe last 3 years, and now people are spiking their prices double. Now only going to last a year and a half. Yeah, for these people. So, but people don't care when they're not living there. Yeah, all they care about is what they see in their bank account, and that's got to change that kind of mindset. Like that's not what we.
I feel like if it's anybody that if any of you guys who are one of those people who are doing this or listening, hit that QR code, make a donation. Pretty please and
Yeah.
thank you. Come on.
Yeah, and I think I could see Kanaka looking at this and becoming even more depressed. But let me offer this perspective. These people are charging these ridiculous amounts of money, but I don't care how much money they get in the bank. They're never gonna get the aloha
No.
of what you get, even though your bank account is zero. Like people spend their entire lives trying to find the inner peace of what you have and what our community has. And they think money is gonna be the solution, and it's not. Money is a vehicle, it's a tool for enabling things, and it's about how you use your money, whether it's your resources, your time, your energy. That's what brings you fulfillment in life. So I what I've seen in the circles that I've walked in and been exposed to is and I'm not saying this applies to everybody, but for the most part, these circles, these rich people, like they have no soul. There's no I don't know, they're just chasing like something that is non-existent, that money's never gonna buy for them. And so I just, I hope that people don't look at this and be like, oh my God, this is even worse. But just know that like you just being Hawaiian, you get plenty value, plenty mana, plenty aloha, like just in being you and being rooted to the aina that is richer than I don't care how much money people get. They only get money according to the system and the construct in which they have put in place. But the real vai, the real wealth, the real richness is right there in that land that we live on. So I hope I wanted to raise awareness and give people like the wow factor. Holy crap, this is ridiculous. It's not, people are not just making this stuff up, but then also for our community, you don't have to define your life by what's in your bank account. So hopefully that is helpful and not harmful and doesn't trigger people to the wrong direction, because that's not the intent at all.
Well, it's what Aaron said. It's about going back to your roots. It's about knowing how to work the land. It's about all of that because, and I can honestly say that is so true and so relatable and resonating, not just if you're on island, it's literally everywhere. If you can, oh my gosh, my cat, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
She's
good.
look, share the diva. So something that I try to instill in even my Kiki, they get frustrated. Oh, it's too hot. Why do I have to do this? Why do we have to learn this? Da 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 da. You could just go to the grocery store. And I'm like, what if the grocery store is not there? What if you don't have a fishing pole? Do you know how to make one?
Mhm.
Do you know what you're doing? Do you know how to understand the weather and what it means? She's,
Yeah.
It's all good.
she just sounds, she has no shame. Popoki. Yes, where she is. But it's, I did a Google search once and was like, what is valuable? What minerals and resources are valuable in Hawaii? And not only was the kalo number one, but I mean, anybody who knows me knows it's not a secret. Jazzy loves her crystals. Black obsidian is one of the highest and most loved quality crystal. And do you know that majority of black obsidians come from the islands?
Mhm.
And so does peridot.
Mhm.
And these are crystals that are used for whatever people are using crystals for. I mean, crystals go back to even our indigenous cousins with the Indians. It's literally it's within us. And when you think about that and you think about what does black obsidian, the meaning of it, what do people say it, the energy it possesses? It possesses protection. It possesses getting rid of negative energy. It possesses literally what ohana and aloha mean is what a black obsidian can offer to people. So like whenever I've heard people say, oh, anytime I've been to Hawaii, I just felt at home and I felt at peace and I felt that I could do, oh my gosh, I'm going to get her. I could just feel like myself. Well, that's because it is rooted. It's rooted in the land that we were always taught to take care of and to she's so bad. To kokua and to take care of. It's always been our business. And I remember being in school and going to kalo farms. And I feel really ditzy right now because I'm like, what is it called when you go from kalo, but it's the paste before it goes to poi?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Okay, because I was like, it's somewhere in there. So I remember I was so excited because I was like, oh yeah, poi's kind of runny. I wanna try it like this. I had to wait because I wasn't a fan of that. But, you know, being away from home and just knowing where you come from, that translates and that will transcend beyond like Moana, Aaron, all three of us. We don't have to be home to connect to home because it's in us. Like you said, it's our pico and it stays within us and it's instilled in us and it actually transcends outside of us too. So it's not a shock that a lot of us living in the continent are always told about how thoughtful we are, how even our wild personalities, if you will be. It's it's part of us. If you look at our islands, it's not just about calm sands and beautiful beaches and coconut trees. Look, we will fire like Pele if we have to. So we're all embedded in all of it.
I think it's important to note too that so like in the system nowadays, everyone values money, or at least some people do, over most things. And I think it's important to remember us as Hawaiians. So back in the ancient days, we valued our land and our resources, which which we got from our land and our waters. And back in old Hawaii, if you hoarded things, like if you hoarded fish, nobody wanted to be your friend. Yeah. At least that's how I understood it. So just culturally, if you apply that to money, to like rich people and how they're taking advantage of the people that are in need. I just think it's important to remember that, or even for outsiders to see what the cultural difference is between Hawaiians and today's society. I maybe try to be more like that. So, not saying like every rich person is hoarding money. I'm sure there's a lot of rich people that maybe helped out and maybe donated funds. I think that is one thing that I notice is that like people that don't have money seems like they want to help, like they want to go down there and they want to be hands on and they really want to be involved. And then people, just in my experience, when I tried to reach out to people, the people that were in a position to help financially, all of a sudden you never hear from them again, never get no response, like just went silent now. And that's kind of like, remember when I was telling you guys when I first started joining in on the meetings with Hoʻakā, like I was just discouraged by some of these people that I was involved with. And I know that, like, for instance, like the school I went to, or even I even reached out to the Polynesian Football Hall of Fame. And then all of a sudden I just stopped getting responses after, and I wasn't even asking for money. I was just asking if they wanted to spend a day sending some people down there just to spend with the kids. I wasn't even anything involved with just sending money to people, but just doing things for the keiki over there. So yeah, I don't know. It's just some things I just wanted to mention.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important to raise because I've also noticed that too. But my dad was a fisherman, and that's how I wrote my first book, just to memorialize him when he passed away. But when we was going through hard times after Iniki, he he lost his job, right? Like in the hotels. I'm sure like many other people. And he was obviously went through his own version of kind of depression. But after a while, I think after he just kind of like he was worried, but he wasn't. Like I never really got a sense of like helplessness from him. And one of the things that I remember he told me is, you know what? Uh, as long as we're on this land, we're gonna be fine. Because you know what? We may not have money, right? But you cannot eat money. I'm gonna be just fine. I'm gonna go to the ocean. The ocean's gonna feed me. If I get plenty, talking to abundance, I'm gonna go share with the neighborhood. Like, and that's like he wasn't just talking, like that's practice. And he was always blessed with plenty when he went fishing and he went to work the land and all of that. And he would always go share, right? So karma, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? Like you reap what you sow. The things that you cultivate is what you get back. And so if you want to cultivate greed, then you're gonna be on that journey of seeking more and more money, but still having no fulfillment, no personal like no true peace, regardless of what's in your bank account. So yeah, just mahalo Aaron for
Yeah.
that reminder and that perspective for everybody.
Also, this is like a good time for people for teach their keiki how for kokua someone else.
Yes.
Um, because there's no better time than to, whether it's going down there or having your keiki, even just write someone a letter or something like that. It's a great time to teach your keiki how to help others, uh, especially if you are Hawaiian and you don't live there. It's a great opportunity to teach them how to help your own people, even when you're not maybe on the same island or even thousands of miles away from them. And that's also just, like I said, going back to your root, teaching your kids how to kuleana, kako someone, malama someone, or all those things. You know?
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you brought that up because that was essentially like one of the main messages in my book was not just teaching your kids to fish, which is what my dad was doing for the kiki in this book. But like at the end was like teaching them how to help other people. And like they were already mindful and seeing what's going on around them. I'll cry. But this, like, it was when I wrote this, I was really battling about whether or not to put homelessness into a children's book, like displaced peoples. But I'm like, how can I not put it in there when it's one of the most challenging themes for our community? And so I'm so glad that I did, because right now this story is so relevant, which is another reason why I wanted to make sure that I sent a whole bunch of them into Maui, so that at least they can read the story and feel like uplifted a little bit. So I'm really that's like why Kanoi sent the videos to me. I was like, oh my God, let me not cry. But I did that 4 years ago, and I ordered this ridiculous amount of books. Now ask me why. I was like, it's my first book. I have this feeling that I'm gonna need a ton of them. A literal ton. I can move a ton of books in my house. Uh, but now coming to this time, like how I thought too, right? Like taking care of what you get and and preparing for when times might not be good, I was able to send a whole bunch without even, like, as my father would say, no shirt off my back. You know what I mean? Here you go. Like he was literally that type. If the people I need, here, take them, take my shirt here. Like you can have them. I don't need it. But that's like the vibe and the energy that I get to put out there. I get to do it with his by honoring him and continuing to do that. Like for me, it's really meaningful, because for me, I keep my dad alive. I keep his spirit alive. This is what he would do if he was here. I'll be right next to him. Like whatever it is, we're gonna go help. We're gonna do whatever. I don't know, we know one real plan, but we just know that we're gonna go for help people.
Yeah.
And so yeah, mahalo for reminding me about that. Because sometimes you take even your own stories for granted, and then you remember, oh, look at that. The story helped me, but look how many people now that it can also help. And whether I obviously published this book, and I have a business that I run off of it, but to be able to balance that, which is another key part of our culture too, is to balance that with the helping piece, and to be able to do that without having to worry about the livelihood of my own ohana, to me is a huge privilege and honor to be able to do that. So mahalo for that reminder. Okay.
Yeah.
We have to remember too, I can't remember who said it. I think it was Kanoi. We are our living ancestors.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We are. There's nothing that's within us that isn't from within us. So our courage, our mana, our strength, our abilities, all of that, even if we weren't taught as keiki, like Moana, there's a lot of our culture that I was like you were messaging stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to sound really ignorant, but I don't know what this means. But it's because not everybody back home was taught, but it's waking up in me. The more I'm around you guys, the more that we talk, the more we vala'au, the more we put all of our energy together, it wakes up the sleeping parts. And it just goes to show, like I said, ancestors, they're within us. And Moana, I can't even express into enough words how your book not only is going to be a gift for those keiki, but now they can also have something that resonates and shows them a light in something that seems so dark and dim. So I'm proud of you. I love you. Thank goodness you had all of those shipped in. Maybe your ancestors were like, Tita, just hold on for a little bit. We got something planned. Or there's going to be something that you can give this to that you're not going to feel so, okay, but why? No, because when it happened, you're just like, shipping label, bye. Get it over there ASAP, as quick as it
Yeah.
can. And no hesitation. And that's just, it's inspiring. I mean, you guys inspire me every day. So I can't even imagine how much you guys are inspiring others when you send the things that you guys have sent, whether through halal or through business, the work that we do. And Erin, with you going back again, and Moana, you going soon, like you guys have this amazing compassion. And I feel like that's why we all bond with Hoʻakā, because
Mm.
It's authentic, it's real, it's organic, it's raw, and it's Hawaii. Like, the trueness of what Hawaii is. Because we're not like, "Oh, yeah, every day's a fun day, and we're all," no, sometimes we get on there and we're like, "Look, sometimes it has to be serious," but we always find the gratitude. We always find the compassion, and then if it's hard, if it's discouraging, if it's something that's super stressful, something that I know Moana's probably gonna be like, "Shh, hush, Jazzy," because I do it all the time. I'm always like, "Did you ground yourself today? Did you go outside? If you're stressed out, take your shoes off, get your feet in the dirt, get outside. Go sit in the sun. I don't care. Take 5 minutes, turn the phone off, go away." And that's something that I learned from home is earthing or being grounded or just connecting because we were name a place that we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I remember my feet being black when I was little. But move with slippers. Slippers will run faster on your hands. I don't know. Those do that is.
And we talk about these words, these Hawaiian words that we all say. We all see them on t-shirts, on hats, about malama, about kako'o, about kokua. Yeah. So when you teach your kids these things, they're just words to them. Um, but when you can actually show them what these things mean, like my kids, for example, they see me traveling to Maui, buying things for Sen over there. They see me doing stuff with Hoʻakamana. So this puts more meaning into those words for them, yeah. And then maybe when they're older, they can think back that time and they remember what that means to malama someone. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that time dad was doing this and that. And then like my son, my youngest son, when I first started doing this, like I took him to go when we went and bought supplies, and like we bought a bunch of supplies, and it was like it really wasn't that much money, but for him it's a lot of money when it's like over $100 or whatever. And like he mentioned to me, he's like, Dad, well, how come you're spending so much money on like these people that you don't even know? And then I was like, well, I was like, Michael, well, for one thing, these are our people. We might not know them, but they're from Hawaii. These are people on our islands where we are from, so they are ohana to us. Um, and I want to stress that importance that it's not just money. Like money really doesn't matter. Yeah. Um, and just put that in his mind that our people and their needs and I would I told him, I was like, "Hey, Micah, like if you had lost everything that we have in our house right now, all your animals, all your toys and all your clothes, everything was just gone one day. And you needed help, wouldn't you want someone to help you? Yeah, to malama you." And I think that kind of put it in a little bit better perspective for him, and he was able to understand that. So like I said, this is just a great opportunity for everyone who has keiki to just show by example. Yeah. Not just say what this means or what that means, but to just, you don't have to say, you just do these kind of things for help. And then they'll see that and it'll make sense to them and put more meaning into those words.
Yep, that's beautiful. The leading by example, that's a big piece. Whether you keiki or you adult, whatever, even sometimes you gotta teach adults too. Oh, but yeah, no, yeah, all of that about being a good role model, a good example, and living through experiences and helping to put yourself in the other person's shoes. So yeah, my dad was huge on my mom too. My mom's like the biggest heart. So yeah, love seeing those messages for a Kiki too. Because I see that with my niece and nephew too. So it's interesting like how certain things resonate with them differently, and then you can use that as like the teaching moment.
Yeah.
Oh, auntie, wow. Yeah, you gotta help. You help. And that's why I think, yeah, I was doing a vendor event when I was at home, author signing event, and they were helping me at the table. And they were like, oh, auntie, how much money did you make? And I think that night was pretty good. Like we did it was like 2 hours. And I think we sold like 25 books. Like for him was like almost $500. And he was like, oh my God, auntie, like you made like 100, okay, 3 hours, maybe it was 3 hours. And so he did the math and he was like, you made 100 and something dollars an hour. And he was like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, see, so like this kind of stuff, you make the money, but that means you gotta give too, because you gotta reciprocate that. You gotta keep that balance going. That's the difference between like appropriation, appreciation. Like, not so much the fact that you're making money off of the culture. It's what are you doing with the resources that if you're gonna take from the culture, like most people do with this, whatever, this Airbnb, right? Like they make this money and then they take it away from Hawaii. They don't reinvest it back into the community. They just take it. Whereas for Kanaka businesses, like I've heard business owners before, I feel guilty because like I'm making money. I'm like, yeah, but you're feeding your family. It's not like you're taking it away. This is like for the community. And so just trying to help like young kids think through that, be okay with making money. It's more about the purpose of it and like how you're gonna leverage those resources. I think it's helpful for them to understand too. Yeah. So many lessons. Unfortunately, like when there's difficult things that's happening, we're navigating it, but it's like you said, Aaron, it's the best teaching things come out of challenges and
Yeah.
difficulties. And those are things that stick with you forever because I mean that's where a lot of mine goes right back to Iniki. What happened to us? My parents broke out the whiteboard, they showed the bills, they showed the money, they showed the little bit small kind left over. And I was like, oh, okay. So as soon as I can get on job, I can quit my job. So I can contribute to the house. I can get the things that I want without being too much of a burden to my family. And since then, that's just been how it is. I get it. Okay. A quick lesson. Sometimes we don't want to learn those lessons so early. We like the kids a little bit longer, but it's important. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that's a great way to tie both of the subjects together. Fantastic conversation, guys. I think we hit on some really good things.
Oh my God. So
Like,
stuff we really, really,
I
yeah,
to
we've been
plan a
planning on talking.
song, but I need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, so mahalo again for sharing mana'o for those who are watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's things like that you guys want us to talk about more, like other topics or aspects of things that you guys want us to explore or bring people, other panelists on to continue, let us know. Leave comments, send us emails, moananuipodcast@gmail.com. We really take the feedback and think about how we can incorporate it into the show. And yeah, I just want to also mahalo, which I haven't done tonight yet, is mahalo our sponsor, Papa Ololokahi, who has enabled a lot of this great work. They've been doing this important work in Hawaii for a long time now. And they're actually partners with both Hoʻakā and the Moana podcast, helping us to malama our Kanaka Maoli communities, both in the islands, in the diaspora, on the continent. So mahalo to them, mahalo to Sherry, Kim, Jason, so many Charis. There's so many people in that organization that I've come to know over the last year or so. So mahalo to them. And yeah, so anything else you guys want to say before we sign off for tonight?
Well, I just want to say one more thing because I was thinking I was talking about it last time, and
Yeah.
then I don't know, I got sidetracked, and then I never really finished what I was saying. But I was saying so in I think we were talking about just being genuine in what you do when you go help, yeah, and not just go there for your social media or whatever is. But I actually did ask Kamana when I was a few days ago. I actually shot him a text and asked him if the people there actually like if that encourages them, yeah, when they see like reels of people or videos or whatever on social media helping and doing things in Maui. And that is actually one thing that really he said is a positive thing for the people over there. So when they see people, especially like other Kanaka or even people from that have to travel there helping out, and they see it on a reel or whatever, that's actually like a real positive thing for them to see. So and like I said, social media can be a real good thing, or you could use it in if you get it could be either it's like a double-edged sword. It could be really good or really bad, depending on how you choose to use your platforms out. But but I was actually really really encouraged a lot of the videos that I saw of people of all races coming together, especially when this first happened, and you see everybody in Hawaii helping, yeah, and that's really encouraging to see, like just so much diverse people that were there, people from California, people from Hawaii, people that are just local to Hawaii, Kanaka, everybody was helping when there was nobody there. Yeah. No, never have FEMA there, never have Red Cross there. So that's really encouraging to see that. And that's aloha. Yeah. That's, and that's what's great about Hawaii is you have all kind of people and they understand aloha, whether they're um, from that aina or not. Yeah. So that's one positive thing that I love seeing out there on social media is the positivity and how much people come together on the islands when it's really needed.
Yep, totally agree. Jazzy?
Just wanting to give just so much aloha and mahalo to each and every single person who's contributed, who still contributes, who's been there since day one, who is feeling tired, exhausted, depleted. Always remember to fill your cup first and then pour into others. It's okay to have a day of rest. It's okay to take a balance, to know that you have to malama yourself in order for you to malama others even bigger. So just so much gratitude out there to everyone on the ground, everyone helping with Hoʻakamana and really other organizations or other avenues that they can. And just let's just keep going. And if you need a rest, rest. If you need someone to lean on, reach out, even if it's our Hoʻakamana ohana or not. Let's be each other's ulus because you know what? Sometimes we need that too. And it's just reach out and just know that we're all supported and everyone's got everybody else's six and then some. So just keeping the aloha spirit going and just staying in gratitude and giving gratitude to everybody out there.
Mahalo. Alrighty, so with that said, we're gonna sign off for tonight. Mahalo to everybody for tuning in, whether you watched the live or on the replay. We appreciate you being a part of the Moana Nui Ohana. Go ahead, go ahead, share, subscribe to the show. This helps us to extend our reach of our stories and help other people raise awareness in different parts of the world and help us to continue the mission. So take care, everybody. Until next time, malama pono, ahui ho.